Hello, I did a video on this channel a year and a half ago in which I recommended some podcasts, and I said in that video, if you want me to do more of these, I'll do more of these, and definitely people did, and I definitely didn't. So it's finally time. More podcasts. This time I couldn't confine myself to 5, so I'm bringing you 6, and then next time it'll be 7 until we get right up to 100, and I've recommended thousands of podcasts. For each of these there will be a link below, as well as a link to an episode that I think will be a good kind of teaser episode. So if you want to see if you're gonna like it, listen to that one. As before, these aren't my absolute favourite podcasts, they're just ones I've been appreciating recently. First we have Invisibilia. This is an NPR podcast that's hosted by Lulu Miller and Elite Spiegel, and it is the best podcast. Like, whenever anyone asks me what my favourite was, it's not even my favourite, but it's just the best. I don't think it's disputable that this is full stop the best podcast in the world. It is about the invisible forces that shape human behaviour, and they've just wrapped their 3rd season, their concept album, and it's just the most high quality, mind-blowing stuff. I have no idea how they managed to source most of the stories they do, but they're also, it's the kind of thing that you listen to and you're like, oh, that was really interesting, I'm gonna think about that, but I'm not sure it's relevant to my life a lot. And then you just find opportunities to bring it up in conversation all of the time because they're just great stories. Next we have Flash Forward, which is hosted by Rose Eveleth. She's been producing this independently for years, but now she's working on ESPN's new sports podcast, 30 for 30, which I'm not going to listen to because I don't care about sport, but Flash Forward is incredible. So the concept is all about exploring science fiction ideas, and they're not like grand science fiction ideas, they're small things like what if California broke away from the US, or what if pets were illegal, or what if you could know the day you're gonna die. The episodes will start with a little fictionalized bit where she gets voice actors to come on and play like a newscaster for what this world is, or a conversation between people in this world. And then she explains a bit about it, and then she gets on experts that can contribute. So like there was an episode about the babblefish, which is a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy thing where you have basically a fish in your ear that can translate any language. So for that she brought on the show a language scientist and a dictionary editor. Flash Forward is like the perfect bite-sized speculative science fiction gift. Next I have Make Out With Him, which is a crushes, dating, friendships and kissing podcast hosted by love amateurs Lex Croucher and Rosianna House Rojas. I just did their whole intro, that was their intro. Lex and Rosianna are YouTubers and they are great, and I will link both of them down below. And this podcast is just a little treat. It's a question and answer kind of advice podcast about any kind of relationship. And it's like listening to 2 friends gossip about their friends, but not in a mean way. They're really like empathetic and actually do give good advice, and I've wanted to write into them many a time. They're one of those podcasts that pops up on my feed that I just enjoy. Like, I'm not there to learn anything or to become a better human. They're just really like fun. Next is Last Podcast on the Left, which is hosted by Ben Kissel, Marcus Parks and Henry Zabrowski. I'm so proud of myself for remembering all those names. LP on the Left is for people that like My Favourite Murder but want more actual content. So it's about loads of creepy stuff, mostly murderers and cults. And it's incredibly well researched. They read entire books on a topic just to make an episode. And the episodes are pretty long, and they also have a lot of like multi-part episodes that go super deep into stories. They're also very funny and very clever. So if you have a morbid fascination with murder like I do, would highly recommend that one. Next is Kind World, which is another NPR podcast that's hosted by WBUR Boston. And they're just they're about 5 minutes long each episode, and they're just stories of how someone can do something for another person in the, oh, that's a shit explanation. It is just, it's so heartbreaking and heart swelling. Each episode is a little act of kindness that someone has done that has had a profound effect on somebody else. I was full on sobbing at my desk the other day at one of these, so beware. And the last podcast is kind of a cop-out because chances are you've heard of it already, and that is Reply All by Gimlet Media. It's hosted by PJ Vogt and Alex Goldman, and it's a show about the internet, but it's quite tangentially about the internet a lot of the time. Like, they have really good, it's just very good journalistically. That isn't something you expect from an internet-centric podcast. Every now and then I'm listening to it and I just think this is really a high quality podcast. It's so good. As well as doing stories about internet related things, they have a segment called Yes Yes No where they drag their boss Alex Bloomberg on. Someone brings a cryptic tweet which tends to have several layers of like pop meme culture over it, and they have to kind of decipher what it means. Besides that, Reply All is just a cool podcast. It's hosted by cool people, it's based in New York. Gimlet Media is a really awesome podcast company where they're just making waves. The teaser I picked for this is one of my favourite podcast episodes ever, and it is fascinating. So if you only want to try out one thing, try out the teaser for Reply All. And there we go, another 6 podcasts for you to listen to. I listen to so many podcasts, I have enough content to make about a dozen of these videos, but I'm going to try and spread them out a little bit. But if you feel like like you need more recommendations now, leave a comment with a couple shows that you already like, and I will try and think of something from my collection that would suit you specifically. Also, if you guys have any recommendations for me, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you are new to the world of podcasts and don't really know where to start, I really recommend getting an app for your phone. I use this one on Android. It is called Pocket Cast. It is really easy to listen to things, and you can save your favorites and you can change the playback speed and all the good stuff. I've probably mentioned this far too many times on this channel, but I like to listen to podcasts super quickly at 3 times speed, and I know that sounds crazy, but I just need more hours in the day to listen to podcasts. If you want to try speeding up your podcast consumption, get an app that you can do like incremental speed changes instead of a whole half at a time, and then just add 0.1 every few days or every week, however you're comfortable, and kind of slowly build yourself up to listening to it faster. I promise our brains are so equipped for handling that much information coming in faster, and you won't forget things or miss things. You'll just be able to consume it quicker. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next one, and I've left some bonus recommendations in the description because I am out of control. Goodbye.